All right, y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Music in the Minor League. This week we're joined by Matt Nilsen, independent folk musician based in Waterbury, Connecticut, which is close to New Haven for those of you not from the Connecticut area like us. We first became aware of Matt's music when he shared a bill with Catherine Peterson, who you heard on an episode earlier this season. We checked out his music, man, really dug it. Then we were heading up to the New Haven as well. He asked him if he'd be willing to share a bill with us. He graciously was. And while we were at it, we asked him if he'd be willing to stop and talk to us on the podcast, man, because like we said, we're trying to talk to everybody out there. Matt just had a new album called On the Breeze come out. Good, dreamy folk music, kind of Elliot Smith vibe, which he says himself. Really dig it. We think you're going to like it as well. So definitely give it a listen. We'll get to preview it here in the episode. Before we start, let's get to the housekeeping. As always, if you like the episode, tell a friend about it. Get the podcast word out. Help get some exposure to all these artists. That's why we're doing it. It really helps get listeners. People check out videos, things like that by getting the word out, man. There's no better way to do it than this. Second, if you'd like to be on the podcast, hit us up. We still have a few episodes left this season. We're going to take a short break through November and December, and we'll be back in January with season 3, man. So we hope you're around for that and really dig what we're doing. We're really grateful to keep it going. We even got our monumental 50th episode coming up. So if you'd really like to be on the show, hit us up. The only thing we ask, you have something released. Now for housekeeping for us, we're going to be on the road. Unfortunately, COVID caught us, so this last weekend we had to cancel our show with Brent Best, which was a huge bummer. But, we're on the mend, and that means we're going to stay healthy. We don't have to worry about that for the next few weeks. So come see us now that we're up and healthy, especially me. I'm the one who was sick. So coming up this Saturday, we're going to be out at Fredonia Brewing Company in Nacogdoches, Texas. If you're in the East Texas area, come hang out. Come see us, man. It'd be great. Then we're going to take a week off before heading up to Neverending Books. That's in New Haven, Connecticut. That's the show we're playing with Matt Nilsen, and Owen McMahon will be playing that as well. It's a 7 p.m. start on August 23rd. On August 24th, we'll be at the Midway Cafe in Boston, Massachusetts. That show will be with Mean Old Fireman, Micah Howerson, and Talia Pearl. It's going to be a good one, man. I'm really stoked for that. That's an early show, 3 p.m. matinee show. The next day, we're going to be in Worcester, Massachusetts at Hotel Vernon with the Moon Raccoons. That's a 4 p.m. start because it's Sunday, man. We're going to get there and play some of that early day music, have a good matinee show there. Then we're going to take a day off before heading up to Norwich, Connecticut to play at Strange Brew Pub. We'll be their featured open mic artist that night, so that'll be a lot of fun. 7 p.m. start for the open mic. Come play some songs, hang out with us. Then we're going to take a couple days off to actually sightsee in the area before August 30th when we head to Providence, Rhode Island to play at Askew Bar and Lounge. That will be with the High Water Haulers and Wind in the White Light. We're really looking forward to that show. That's going to be a cool one. Then we're going to head down the coast to Ventnor City, New Jersey for a show at Ventnor Coffee. That'll be a 6 p.m. start. And then on September 1st, we're going to close out the tour with a show at Lucky Penny House Concerts in Washington, D.C. That's a great one. Look up Lucky Penny, Paul Eckert online, pick up tickets. It's going to be a great show, man. We played there. I did a solo show there many years ago. Great time, man. Great little house venue he has. Then we'll be heading home on September 5th. We'll be playing a Bedlam and Ballad show with Grifters and Shills at Union Tavern. It's our chance to show you that people will come out during the daylight hours to come see bands. That's all we have for now, so we hope you enjoy this interview with Matt. We're going to kick it off with a song from On the Breeze. This one's called Something True, man. See y'all on the other side later.
And says that it's worth it to have the night with you. She's in her autumn, death and rebirth anew. Guided by her moon. 122. Jaded hearts and you. She said it might be a while till you're able to see me. Just take what you need. She says, if you have one then it's me. He can't breathe. Sleepless, drunk on melody.
All right, y'all, we're here with another episode of Music in the Minor League. Today we are joined by Matt Nilsen, all the way up in Connecticut way. We'll be seeing Matt in a few weeks, man. He's in Waterbury, Connecticut. Found out about him because our friend Catherine Peterson, who y'all heard in a previous episode, played with him up there at Volume 2, Never Ending Books, and we decided to reach out to Matt, man, and now we get to talk to him. So thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think this is my first actual podcast appearance. So
Nice.
thanks for giving me that opportunity. It's fun and terrifying at the same time.
Fun and terrifying. That's going to be our new tagline.
Music in the Minor League. Fun and terrifying.
I like it.
You know, but after you get used to getting up on stage in front of people and playing, it's, you know, it's not at all terrible to go back and watch yourself on video.
Hopefully our
I'm
silliness
sensing
will
the sarcasm there for sure, because
Oh,
the
God.
nausea never goes away, you know.
we did a local podcast here, Vinyl Voices, which is on the radio, so they had to cut out most of the terrible stuff that I said.
Ooh,
But then they just released on their YouTube like the unedited interview, like video with video. So our 50-minute on radio spot is something like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, my like penchant for dark humor just totally comes out. I think I talk, as far as the band's concerned, I talk probably 95% of the interview.
Yeah, but then like the 5% that I'm talking, I had to go apologize to my mom and pre-story because I'm like, oh God, Mom, if you hear this, I was playing a character.
I was saying some stuff. It was to be funny. It wasn't anything real.
Oh man.
So
One of my best friend says there's a reason they call it an act, so we'll just stick with that.
There you go.
Exactly. I plead the fifth.
Well, all right, man, the way we normally try to kick it off, man, I guess what got you into music? Like how long have you been playing? Just, you know, get to the basic information, like what drew you to playing music?
Cool. So, I mean, primarily I'm a guitar player, I would say. I've been playing since I was real little. So I come from like a musical family. My dad played, my sister played for a minute. And I actually started because my dad was teaching my sister to play guitar, and in typical annoying younger brother fashion, I was like, let me in on that. I want to see what you're up to, because I'm 6 years younger than her, so I was constantly like a little bit too young for us to be totally friends, and then like until we got older. So like I would just constantly be like hanging out and like being pesky. So, yeah, I started playing. My dad showed me some chords. He showed me scales. And this was probably 2004. So it was like the very early stages of like YouTube and the internet. So I took that and I just started like watching YouTube videos, like how to play random songs. So like, I don't know, that guy Marty teaches guitar or whatever. I forget his name on YouTube. Like I started watching those videos incessantly and just playing all the time. So that's really how I started. And then it's just never gone away. You know, it's like that habit that you can always go back to. And the whole songwriting thing is only a few years old. I mean, I started doing that probably 2021. So.
Okay.
Before that, I just played in bands and like hid behind the guitar and pretended I was invisible.
Right. I know that feeling.
That's always fun too, because I always go back to playing in bands forever from high school. Even bands that I sang in, like where I did guitar and sang like noisy, loud bands. First time I did like solo acoustic show, like my vision started like kind of going in and out. I was like, oh god, I can't believe this. Like my blood pressure had to be like through the roof. I was having like a meltdown.
You're like, is this anxiety or am I having a heart attack?
I could hear how off key I was. So, it's some of those things where it's like, coming from a guitarist in a band, I imagine it was kind of a little bit of a shock to be like, okay, it's just me and this acoustic here.
Yeah, what you're describing, I'm pretty sure that was just like my last gig. So I definitely know what that's
Even
like.
still.
And it doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't.
Well, see, I feel bad because, I grew up performing in high school and in churches and stuff. And so being on stage isn't that bad for me. So I feel bad now, but that's okay.
And it's just, again, when you first did it, you may not remember.
Oh, no, yeah. I was like 8 and I was scared to death. Absolutely. But it does fade. Like the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Look how comfortable you are on stage now, Sam.
Well, I'm just saying, he'll get to it too. You don't realizing that you're going to miss lyrics and notes and things. And it's like, it happens.
You get there.
It no longer becomes this soul crushing experience. You're like, yeah, it happens.
Wait, you guys are comfortable on stage? I am totally uncomfortable on stage all the time. Like I'm constantly like, oh shit, this is the time it sucks. I'm gonna ruin this. They're gonna be like, this guy's horrible. They're gonna boo my ass out of the band. Glad to know you
Really?
guys.
Every time?
Every time.
You hear us on the drive home?
No, dude.
Awkward.
I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. I think that's just a me thing. Like I'm just awkward.
I don't know, man. 'Cause there's people we know. Like we talked to Trish Cramblett, one of the songwriters. She was talking about that. Like she's been playing forever. And she's like, I still have like huge anxiety and stage fright, like decades into doing it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the funny thing is, a lot of my gigs are just to the same 5 or 10 friends every time. And yet still, it's like, oh my God, this is the time they're going to find out I'm an idiot and I can't play music at all and I'm terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get up there and they can play 2 songs and maybe you're still nervous, but you're like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah.
Water's still cold, but I'm in the pool now. And then you get through it,
That's how I am. There's a lot of nervous energy until we start.
Yeah.
And then once we start playing, it's like, well, it's too late. It's too late now. Like there's nothing to worry about. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
True.
There's a bit of, freedom and just the ball starts rolling. And it's like, well, we just got to see what happens.
Yeah, at this point, we're locked in. We might as well just follow his path wherever it goes. Oh, here we go.
And I think playing for friends can be more intimidating.
True.
Honestly.
I can agree with that.
It can. Whew.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely more intimate.
Very.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of them, depending on the songs, a lot of them know kind of what some of the people and things referenced in songs could be about.
Right. It's not as much a mystery for them. Like, oh, yeah, that girl was a pain in the ass. Glad you wrote a song about her. Dang it.
Even worse, sometimes they think and believe they know the people and places mentioned in songs. Like, no, it's really not about you at all. Sorry.
So,
Yeah, it's like, God forbid you make something up, right?
Right.
Right. You mean
Take a
everything
little
doesn't come from life experiences?
creative license. So I have to ask, did the pandemic have anything to do with you starting to write, or was it just the momentum of your music?
I would say it definitely made the space for it. I was super lucky at the time that I had a solid living situation and I was working from home. So I just had like a ton of time. And then it coincided with discovering like new genres that I was super into. Because I get really obsessive with like artists and genres and stuff. So like at the time I got super into Gregory Alan Isaac, who to this day is like a huge influence on me. And with not as much stuff to do, I was just like with an acoustic guitar, like playing his songs. And then I was like, hey, I think I kind of like sing some of these. So I started singing covers of this stuff. And then I was like, wait a second, this is something I could do. I like this. And then I just started writing folky songs. Because that's just kind of what came out. Because before that, I was in like post-hardcore bands, punk bands, like loud stuff, and so it was completely unexpected for me. And then I just really liked it, so it stuck around.
I have to say, I've heard this story before.
So about to say late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. So interesting.
It's normally that point. Yeah, I think it happens to a lot of people. You get to that point in life where, hey, it's hard to keep a band together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your friends are like, I'm having kids, or I've met somebody, I can't. My girlfriend doesn't want me to practice 3 nights a week, or whatever.
I'm going to get my master's degree. I'm going off to college.
Screw you and your education.
And then the hardcore people are like, I'm gonna play no matter what.
Right.
I can do it just me and this guitar. I don't need everybody else.
Hardcore.
Hell yeah.
So,
I think I can hear my friends laughing preemptively at describing what I do as hardcore.
Well, I don't mean
Well,
hardcore as like, you know,
hardcore about
hardcore
it.
music. It's just being the one who's like I'm doing this. Like I love making music. Like, you know.
Oh, I know. I mean just hardcore in any sense of the word. You know?
all right. Well,
But,
friends,
no,
we
there's definitely
think.
some truth to that because I mean the band I left off in was called Carbon-Based. I'm still great friends with all those guys. But yeah, all of us, we were just getting older. We were all working full time. One of my friends who was the singer actually works in the music industry, so he travels. So holding the band together and COVID hitting, I mean, really, that killed so many bands. But
Oh yeah.
it was just tough to keep it together. So we kind of all just went our separate ways with music. And, you know, we get together still, like we pencil it in on the calendar every few months when it fits, you know, because we're all so busy. But I think that's true for a lot of my friends that were in bands that kind of just stopped playing. You know, it wasn't really a loss of love. It was just a lack of practicality at that point.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Life.
Well, I know people who, through the pandemic, like even who were in bands that were, you know, even marginally, I guess, successful, like bands that either been major label bands that were kind of still going on indie labels and things. Were like, hey man, like I was home for a couple years. It was kind of cool hanging out with my wife and my kids, and
My actual family.
I picked up a job and like I have health insurance now, and there's a money in the bank. Like I think I'm done. Like I'm done.
Like, I got this new thing called a savings.
I've heard about these before. Where you put money, it's there. It's still the Bigfoot of my life, but you know,
Yeah.
I think it's out there somewhere.
I've heard rumor.
I do have a save right now. I was looking at it today. It's $38.17.
Go, baby.
So you know,
Dude, you're doing good, buddy.
growing up.
Dude, it only takes a spark to get a fire going, bro.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope it's a hot ember. I'm already spending it. I'm like, man,
Right? I can get this many McDoubles.
that's my hat money for when I go to Fenway when we're up there.
Hey,
so.
maybe we spend it on writing things.
That'd be
Maybe
cool.
I'm not going to say anything right now because I haven't written a song in a while.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, you need to shh.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to bring the topic back, sir.
Truth.
Matt Nilsen, independent folk musician and band therapist, coming
Thank you.
in. Like, I thought this was about me. We're all like having beef with each other. Like,
I feel like we've learned a lot and grown a lot today.
right?
This podcast really is
Well, I know
about
there's no
us.
video in this right now, but I kind of have that Robin Williams and Good Will Hunting look going on. So, you know, it just brings it out. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Bright Wire. It's not your
Thank you, Matt.
You're okay. You're all right.
You're safe here.
Oh, so you've been writing your own songs for, I guess that's what, 3 years now?
You do have a full.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
I know
What were
you had
gonna
the EP, or I guess it's a full out. What is it? 7-9 songs? I just listened to it today, and I'm like blanking out.
I think it's 10. I call it an album.
There you
I think
go.
it's
It is-
10.
it is
I
an
have to
album.
count.
Yeah, that's technically an album.
Counts.
I know it's I was listening on my phone. I didn't go all the way down. I feel like the asshole disc jockey. It's like, hey buddy, new album, new song. Like, which song? Hey, you know, it's the one. Yeah, sounds
I think it
great.
was the third one that we listened to.
But we did.
No, thank you. Thank you for checking it out at all. I appreciate it. It's cool.
Oh, it's very dreamy. Like, it made me want to, I hate to say this, but I have a sleep playlist and I want to add you to it because it's very zen. I really enjoyed it.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, I'd never get upset by that. Thank you so much.
Right? You can add me to your calm playlist. Yes, please do.
Oh, my guitar is so dreamy.
Give me them royalties. I'll take it.
Well, it's kind of cool that, you know, everyone's got to have something that they're into, man. So, you know, if it's
I like-
chill, it's just
Hell
not to be
yeah.
like, oh, I'm pissed. that
I
you
like
gave
a
me
dreamy
chill stuff.
guitar to sleep to.
Well, the cool part is I can play it in my classroom.
There you
know?
go.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good kind of creative soundtrack in the background for kids. You know.
He's an art teacher, by the way.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
So,
Oh man, if I knew that my songs were going to be playing in an art classroom when I wrote them, I think I'd be so psyched that I'd probably psych myself out of writing the songs. So, that's really cool. I think there's only one song on the album that has swears.
Okay.
I think it's Summers. So maybe don't play that
Okay.
if you're depending on the age of your kids. But
They're high school kids and they're usually pretty cool, but we're about to start classes like in 2 weeks. So I got to like, takes a little time to realize who the rats are. Make sure nobody's going to like out me, you know? But typically they're pretty cool. I mean, we cross a pretty wide array of genres in my
I'm
classroom.
sure.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been kind of doing that with my classes is bringing in some of the artists that we've interviewed because it's just nice for you know, I mean, how many high school kids are going to go out and look up your stuff? Probably not many, but they might like, and that's been the cool part is I've had a lot of kids be like, hey, I really liked what you played. I'm like, hey, if you like that, here's some more.
Then you find the cool kids.
That's been my favorite part about like doing more indie music is just getting exposed to so much more than I would have found when I was 15, 16. That those ages when you really form those weird limbic center connections to music, like Balance and Composure of the band is a good example for me. Like, it's not really my current taste, but I loved that music when I was 16, 17, so I'll always like that album,
right,
with the girl in the dress on, that kind of thing. But playing music, like, you just find so much more stuff that you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, we've been fortunate, like, with all the touring we do, like, we come across, we're playing in different states and stuff, so we don't know anybody on the bill until we kind of get there. And man, like, we get to play with all kinds of great musicians and stuff that, like, yeah, like you said, I wouldn't have never checked out so-and-so, but being on a bill with them, I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna go check them out. And next thing you know, we're like listening to all their songs driving down the road to the next show. It's hilarious. We're kind of nerds like that.
I think I don't know. Do you do that?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the best way to be. I mean, I checked out your stuff before this, partially for research, partially because I was curious, and then I stuck around because I liked it. So
yeah,
there's sort of an organic development there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, we've done that since I've known Sam, but I thought that was just like a thing everybody did.
No, apparently it's not.
It's pretty cool.
That's the thing, man. If it's your scene and your people that you're playing with and being, at least give their art a chance, give their music.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what it comes down to, too, because like if you embrace that, it becomes more like a community thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my favorite musicians around here are like my friends, which is really cool. So
what
you don't get that just like surfing an algorithm on Spotify,
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, because no matter how weird you get on the starting band, it's like, and here's a major label 20-year-old band that sounds we think you'll like. Say, but I was listening to this indie artist. Yeah, but we're not going to offer any of that up to you.
Right? No. You like Metallica? What?
Yeah.
Is this state anger? Because I hate that snare drum.
It's just funny how it can go like left turn too. Like I can be listening to Matt's album. It's like, yeah, but have you heard Ed Sheeran? It's like,
what?
Huh?
What?
No, I want to next.
For a reason.
The guy who looks like a newt.
Well, that's another question that I have then. What was the thing that made you decide you wanted to record it, put it out in the world?
Oh, that's a great question that I don't know if I have an answer to. I mean, the reality is probably ego, right? I mean, at least for me, it's like I was playing open mics, and I don't know, you hear people play, and like you hear people record stuff and put it out, and like some of it's good, some of it's maybe not what you're into, and like for me, I was just enjoying writing the songs, I was enjoying playing them, and I would have people ask me like, oh, where can I find your stuff? And I never had an answer because I never recorded any of my own stuff. So eventually I was like, I should really get to that. And then last year, over the summer, I was like looking for work. So I had so much time on my hands and I was just recording these little songs. And then all of a sudden, it was June and I was like, wait a second, I have like 6 or 7 songs recorded here. Why don't I just finish something?
Yeah.
And then at that point I had its own momentum. So, because I don't know, I get obsessive about things. So like halfway through, I was like spending like hours and hours a day on this project. I was like, oh, cool.
Hi,
I
Matt.
have something to do while I'm looking for work.
Hi, Matt. Meet Sam. He is also obsessive.
One thing that goes with it, man, you want to try to get it down. So I was going to ask I saw that you recorded at home and everything. Did you do any recording stuff with old bands, or is this your first foray into recording?
It was definitely my first experience doing the recording myself. Because like in past stuff, I was always relying on like the skills and talents of my bandmates who were very gracious in supplying those. Put another way, I was just super lazy and I wasn't really super involved in the recording part aside from playing the part, that I was supposed to play. But for this, it was like, oh, I actually got to like set the mics up. I got to pick like my DAW. I got to buy the equipment. I got to do all this stuff. And that part of it's still super intimidating, but I mean, I love learning stuff and it was challenging, so I was super into it. I'm not sure how the product came out in terms of like a recording engineer sitting and listening to it, but to me, I was like, it's a good like artifact of me trying to learn how to record.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that the other day with friends I was.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, they used to stick a microphone in one room, like, all right, go. And everyone's like, these are the greatest recordings ever. And it's like, oh, it kind of sound like shit, but it's what you grew to love and you get the spirit of it there. I think everything sounds fine. Like, I think everything sounds good.
That's a compliment, yeah. Because Sam doesn't throw that out lightly. But that's cool. That's cool that you knew you had to put it out there somehow. So it's good that many people, like, asking you gave you the motivation to do it.
Oh, don't get it twisted. I mean, we're talking like 3 or 4 people probably.
Okay.
And it was more like I played probably like 4 open mics in a month. Mm-hmm. And maybe 2 times somebody asked me like, hey, do you have any music out? I'm like, that alone. Like, oh, what if I did that?
There you go.
And once I'm saying to myself, like, what if I do something? Like, I typically try to at least do it once. So
there's nothing wrong with
who
that.
knows? I might never put out another album, but I might not. We'll see.
There you go.
You know?
That's great.
That's
Great
part of the whole
reason to do it.
DIY thing, man. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Exactly.
Truth.
That's right.
I guess the other thing is, like on your website, I've noticed you started doing all this journaling and stuff like that, kind of putting things out to bring, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Like the blog is it was something we had for a long time that a lot of people did, then it kind of fizzled out, then you're bringing it back. So I guess I was just trying to think of a good way to take it, because I thought it was interesting. Like I read through a few of them, and then so I was like, okay, I gotta learn about this guy.
Well, you can't
So
put
it's a good
everything in a song.
Well, I know, yeah. I guess what led to that, like decide I'm gonna sit down and start putting out, like, here's what's up with my shows, here's what's up with this, here's what's going on in my life, kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, like anything, I think it has like a bunch of reasons. I mean, I do love to write. I went to it was funny you mentioned grad school before. I did go to grad school for writing. I have an arts degree in fiction. And part of going to grad school and doing that was very quickly sort of falling out of love with that, just because of how mechanized it was for a while. Like the sheer output of just writing, for us, it was, I think, 150 pages every 6 months. So it was a lot. And after 2 years of doing that, I took a break for a long time. So these journals are kind of like me getting back into just writing for whatever reason I want to write. So that's one reason. Another reason is a buddy of mine does a similar thing. He posts his on Mondays, and I always enjoy reading his. And he would start writing about stuff like our friend group had done, and I was like, oh, that's kind of surreal to read. I could do that. So I stole that idea real quick. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for listening. So I started doing that, and then I hope nobody from work listens to this, but I do have some downtime at work. So it's something to do on my downtime, and I enjoy it. So, it has its own momentum now. Every Tuesday, tomorrow, I'm up for getting another one up there.
So smart.
I think that's cool.
Writing any way you can, just to keep yourself writing.
Well, yeah, I think that's, and you also, like, you think about it, a lot of people don't read, like, as much as they really should anymore. Like, they get so much of their information from a video. And so it's nice when someone takes the time to type it out. And, I guess it kind of goes back to that whole idea of, like, when the Kindle came out, everyone's like, oh, books are gone. Well, I was like, no, they're not, because there's still people that like the tactile feeling of a book and turning a page and feeling it and smelling it. And so it's the same thing with, like, the typing out something, and also, like, to type it out means you want to take the time to do it. So it gives it a little bit more importance. Even if it's, like you said, like a recap of what your friend group did over the weekend, it's still like, it's a moment in time and it's there perpetually. It won't change. It's there. So it's not like how we lose memories and we like, suddenly that, 6-pound bass is like 20 pounds, like, no, this is what I wrote. This is how it was. And so it's kind of cool to see that again. So I applaud it. I think it's a neat idea.
I think a lot of people do it. It's pretty freaking cool that you put it on your website.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I have a great friend from school that one thing she said one time that really stuck with me was because it occurred to you, so you must. The idea being like, oh, you thought of something to do that is like productive and like harmless and cool, like you should do it. Like, there's no reason you should hold yourself back from at least trying it, right?
Right.
So that was part of it for sure. And then I don't know, like, I don't have any, like, highfalutin noble reasons for doing it. Like, you mentioned, like, how people don't read the way they should anymore. And, like, that includes me. Like, I used to read a ton for school. And, like, I spend hours on YouTube more than I should. And, like, I watch Succession.
Same.
And, all the normal stuff that everyone does. But I don't know. I found reading, like, other people's writing, especially my friends' writing, like, every time a line stuck out to me and, like, he described something that we both experienced, but it was, like, a unique thing to how he said it, I was like, that's really cool. You don't get that from watching, a video or a blog or whatever.
Right.
Like, to me, that's a unique thing. So I was like, I like doing that, so I want to keep doing it.
Plus, it helps to keep that engine going because, the guitar parts and everything are cool, but a lot of times it's the lyric, I don't know, depending on your songwriting habits, a lot of times lyrical ideas come first, and it's like, okay, I can build around this, or the words kind of build a melody. So it helps to kind of always have that thing moving.
You're reading my mind, that's for sure.
I keep threatening, so I'm always like, man, like, I'm doing this. We keep listening to all these rock and musician autobiographies and, oral histories of various things while we're on the road. So I've been like, I should sit down and start picking all these weird stories that, like, I tell people 1,000 times and start writing them out.
Dude, yes, my best friend Dan, he's working on a book. And it's our adventures, from community college to present.
Oh, that's great.
And, it's cool to, like, again, like how you said, how reading someone's interpretation of a situation that you were part of, it is surreal. because there are moments that stick out to him in these, these interactions that we've had for 20 years that to me were just like a fleeting moment of just whatever. And he like, it meant something heavy to him. And I'm like, wow, man, I didn't know that. And so, yeah, it's cool when you read that kind of stuff, because it's like, oh, all right, I do have an impact on somebody. Look at me, mama. I'm doing stuff.
Well, I mean, personally, I also think there's a gap in books about music that are like more focused on the writing than the music, if that makes any sense. So like, I'm going to shout out my friend Neil. He's actually based in Azle, Texas. So I want to shout him out, but not to spoil his book because it's going to come out eventually. But he wrote a great book about the music scene in the Fort Worth area. It's a fiction book. And I remember just reading it and like thinking, this takes place in Fort Worth in a different era, but like I went to that house show. I know exactly what that place smells like and like how terrible it is and how you're going to remember that forever. Right.
Yeah.
And I just think it's cool because it's a bridge, It's like, it's a different experience. It's a different time, different place, totally. But, it's pretty universal on one level. And I don't know, the indie scene, like, it's compelling. I like to think about it as a good subject to write about. It's the whole human experience, right? It's like, there's good people, there's really bad people taking advantage of people, there's art, people make it, don't make it,
True.
So what's a better subject for a book, in my opinion?
No kidding.
Plenty of material there, I guarantee you.
Now I want to read it.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a reader.
No, that's a good thing, because it's interesting to see, especially as someone who grew up, being in bands that mostly played like house shows or little bars that would let anybody playing we're not playing pop music by any standard. So it's like, you always got to kind of live on that fringe. So it's cool to see as more people talk about that and represent that, things are going to happen no matter what. And there's these really weird places and these really magical places too that could be like the most disgusting house show that's, punk house where everybody like plays. But every time you went there, it was like, dude, it was like the best show. It was like, these moments. Then when you start talking about it, you're like, yeah, but it was pretty gross. Like there were rats everywhere.
The gritty details.
Well, I think it reveals like the limits of nostalgia too, right? Because like so many of those house shows that like you and I might remember as like an awesome experience, like who knows if it was like the worst night of someone's teenage life, right?
True.
You never know. And like thinking about it in those terms, it's like it just makes you realize how lucky you are sometimes, like to get through the things you've been through and be unscathed, because not everybody's like that. So I don't know.
Can confirm. That is true, man.
Yeah. I remember going to see the Suspects when we were younger, the first time we saw them, and I had locked my keys in my car in Houston, and I was from about 2 hours away. So it was a terrible night for me, but all my friends were like, that was the best show ever. It was the greatest. It only became the great show for me about halfway through the Suspect set when we found the guitarist from the opening ska band was like, I can break into your car, dude.
Hell yeah.
Well, actually, it was like his bandmate was like, our guitar player can get in your car. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, let's go find Wade.
Oh, my God.
And Wade gets out. Wade's like, dude, I took a lot of mushrooms, dude.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. But he did it. We
Thank
found
you,
a clothes
Wade.
hanger, and Wade broke into my car.
Damn it.
Wow.
Into my mom's
favorite part
car.
of that,
You need to write a book. Yep.
my favorite part of that is that the bandmate was like, oh, Wade could totally do it. It's like Wade's thing.
Right, yeah. How do you think we got all of our shit?
Danny, the bass player, collects, treasure trolls, and Wade breaks into cars. It's what we do.
There's one in every band.
Right.
But man, it was the best. I just remember running with him. I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, goodness.
And but he did it. And it was great. There were like 30 kids standing around this car with him trying to break into it. And like HPD pulls up. This is at Fitzgerald's, which is like right on the corner of these two major streets. Oh, man. Looks over at us and then just drives off.
He didn't want to do the paperwork.
Because we're all like trying to, doing like 17 years old. Like we're not breaking into a car, like just looking around. Like, this is fine.
Fine evening, officer. Fine evening.
So I have this great story, but the fucking show was terrible because it was like the whole night. I'm like, I have to call my mom. I mean, I'm not supposed to be here, and I have to call my mom. But mom,
Oh wait, you didn't tell me that part. Like you weren't even supposed to be there.
oh no, so the punchline of all that, I think I've mentioned down here before, is we always told my mom Fitzgerald's was in Galveston, which was just across the ferry. To put it in Connecticut terms, it would be like, I'm going to, I guess, I don't know, I'm trying to think. It'd be like for Susan and Ham, like, I'm going to New Haven or, going to Hartford for the night and driving to New York City instead. And that was kind of what we were doing. It was like, yeah, we're just going to Galveston. Then we drive the 2 hours into Houston. My mom didn't know till like I was way older that Fitzgerald's was in Houston. You mean that place is here? Like, yeah.
Well, Well, the best and worst part is that there are kids who are still doing that, probably like either last weekend or this weekend. Like these things just recur, right?
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
The faces and places might be different, but there's just new people doing them. It's the same
I
stuff.
hope so.
Well, and the best part though is that if at this point the parents are not aware of where their kid's driving, that's on the parent, because it wasn't like when we were kids. Like my mom didn't know where half these places were, so she wasn't going to call them up and be like, "Where are you located?" She just took it on faith that her kid wasn't a piece of shit and was going to be where they're supposed to be.
Right? I couldn't imagine the Google life, but I think most parents, it's amazing how many people, someone who deals with parents and children all day, how many parents don't remember what they did or what being a child was like. It's like, maybe it's because I remained immature and state of arrested development, but I'm also, the point is like, when my kids did stuff, I was like, I know what you're doing, dude. Like, here's exactly how I did what you're doing. That's how I was going to do it. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, dude. With
Don't
Trey,
lie, just do it. Okay.
dude. With Trey, like he turns 15 in 2 days. I know everything he's about to do. Like, and I'm just waiting. I'm not even giving him the warning. I'm like, I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to lie about this. It's fine. We'll get through it. I'm not going to act surprised when you do it. Like, I'll be like, yep, I know what you're doing.
I pulled it 30 years ago.
All right. Just ask your grandma. It's the same thing. And it's okay. It's part of the game, right? We want them to grow up and learn
That comes
things.
from somewhere.
Yeah. It's all good. As long as he doesn't get arrested, we're fine.
I love that we're taking these things that were so important to us when we were younger and like still putting them out into the world.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, it's important, man, because this stuff's going to keep going. I mean, no matter what people say, no matter what they tell you, music's going to keep going. People are going to keep doing stuff.
Yeah, kids are still going to sneak out and go to a show they're not supposed to go to and have a great time or a bad time because they lock the keys in the car. And that story's going to play over 1 million times for decades to come, and it'll be great. You know, and that's, hopefully they're buying our music or listening to our music when they do it, because I'd like the royalties.
I ain't worried about that, man. It's just be cool to be a soundtrack for anything, man.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I had so many soundtracks for all the crazy stuff I did. But yeah, it's always interesting, man. Think about that. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it is true that nostalgia definitely gets in the way of various things.
It does.
So I can go through. I was listening to, that's another thing, I was listening to a podcast with, what's Thomas's last name? From Strike Anywhere. He used to be in a band called Inquisition, and like a Richmond, Virginia, I guess like post-hardcore, hardcore band, I don't know. But I remember seeing Inquisition and Propaganda at Allen Parkway Village, which was like a homeless squat in Houston. And it was amazing, dude. It was like, as a teenager from the beach, it was like, this is the craziest thing. They took this squat. There's all these wild people, and there's tables and political groups and all this stuff. Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, people are making things happen. And then I was listening to a podcast with oh my god, what's it called? Turned Out a Punk. The dude from Fucked Up, the lead vocalist, has a podcast. And he was talking to Thomas about that. He's like, dude, that was the most fucked up show like we ever played. Like, it was the craziest thing that we show up and it's like we're playing a squat. It's like this, everything's really tense around it and all this. And all of us kids were like, that was the best thing ever. We had a blast. And they're like, dude, it was really hard on the band.
We thought we were going to die.
It was tits, and you're just like, you know. So the opposite side of that too, man. Memories. We all have our own interpretation of what happens.
Yeah, and that kind of gets at like the ethos, right, of that kind of music. It's like you want to include everybody.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes you want to go to that. It's like, here's some music. You know, at the very least, like at the punk to be like, here you go. No matter where, especially if it's outside in like some unconventional space. And plus, I don't know, it becomes like it's fertile ground for a bunch of other stuff, like you said, like there's political groups there. Who knows what else? Like people making fanzines, things like that. You know.
Yeah, it's cool. There's like a community event where it moves beyond. Because some of our favorite shows are like ones where it's like, you know, there's art people there and things like that, where it's more communal. I'm a big fan of playing non-traditional spaces. I mean, the sound's normally better at like a venue, but it's like, it's way more fun. Normally it's a better experience being in a non-traditional place. That's why, like I say, being a librarian, I was like, dude, the Never Ending Books, like that'd be perfect, man. Like that sounds cool as shit. It's like a community bookstore. So I was like, I want to go play. Can we play there? And we might.
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's actually it's called Volume 2 too as well, because it had a first iteration that I think it closed down during COVID, and then they opened it up again. Like there was a small sort of like crucible of volunteers that were like, no, we're going to save this place, and they started Volume 2, which is the second, you know, era of Never Ending Books. And I'm pretty sure it's a cooperative, which is pretty cool too. Like you'll walk in there and it's you'll see on the 23rd, but it's there's a bookstore, and then to the right is the event space. And it's literally just like a narrow room, and it's super hot, and it's like, really bright, and it's under apartments, but it's a great space. It sounds like not good the way I just described it, but it's really awesome. And,
no, I was just sitting there going, yeah, that sounds cool.
You walk by, there's like a free book rack, and like they got cool vintage records inside and all that. So
that's awesome.
No, it's definitely it's a perennial favorite for me, for sure.
So that'd be awesome. That's what I've been looking forward to, just looking about it and reading about it. I was like, man, this place looks cool. Like, I've dug through stuff, read like local articles. I'm weird that I check out our venues we're playing and try to make sure they're not, sketch place. I don't want to walk into some place where it's like comes back to bite us in the ass one day.
Yep.
Well, I hope you guys have fun playing there, since I'm not going to be there when invited. Jerks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, be better.
Yeah, you're not going to meet
We'll
Health
talk
in
about this
person.
later,
It's okay.
Mr.
It's fine.
Helfenstein.
You're not missing out on much.
You're really not. I'm really just there for comedic relief, like I am here.
And evidently scared to
I'm
death
staying
every
out
time
of
you
this
get
one.
on stage.
This is y'all's business.
Someone to yell at when I make mistakes.
Thanks.
Someone to glare at that I don't have to go home with afterwards. Like, oh man, that guy on the dobro, it didn't sound like he was the one, but he must have been.
That guy looked at him like he
Guy
did.
looked pretty dirty towards him. Like, yeah, wasn't me.
Oh, yeah.
Back to why I'm nervous on stage.
Right?
They hit me.
Help.
Right? Help. You see in the background me holding a little sign. Help.
Well, like I say, you got the album's been out for, I guess, about 8 months now? And I guess that's the next logical question. Do you have anything else coming up you're working on? Or
So I'm always working on like new songs. As for like a cohesive thing, I'm not sure. So I guess I could talk about it now because it's past. But I think it was last weekend. I was at a buddy's house. One of our friends, he hosts a lot of house shows. And we decided, Owen and I, who you meet on the 23rd, he's opening as well.
Yeah.
We both decided we were going to play a house show at this place. And we were going to record it and try to release it as sort of like a live album EP thing. His set went great. Mine was horrendous. I'm not going to put it out. But the songs are good enough that I might try again at some point. Cause, I started playing and I just forgot a bunch of lyrics and like stopped and started. I don't know. I have this thing with recording where it's like I just need a million takes,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
part of the reason why I was trying to do the live thing. But yeah, after doing that, I haven't listened to it back yet. But after doing that, I had this feeling of like, nah, I'm going to have to do that again. So we'll see.
That would be cool.
Red light fever, man. I know.
Oh,
the
it's
feeling.
real.
It's real. It's a
Very.
real thing.
Yeah.
God.
I usually end up having a nervous breakdown every album, like especially on drums. It's like, I got it. It's like,
Son of a.
I just take all of those end of mistake takes and put them as like a track, all the stuff like, mother.
God
Hearing
damn
sticks throwing around the house. Like, it's,
That'd be a great hidden track.
It would be funny.
it's always, man, that whole, as soon as they hit record, it's like everything I've ever played and sung just disappears. So you're not alone there.
Nope.
It would be, I'm a failure.
See, I'm more on that side of the spectrum. That's how I react. But
Yeah.
Everyone's going to know I'm a fraud. That was normally my thing. But
Everyone's going to know it took me 96 takes just to get these three notes.
rename, instead of like take 90, it's like guitar. Take one. Got it right right off the bat.
First try. One and done, son.
I always
well,
laugh.
that's the thing too, because like you compare yourself to like what you like. Also, like for example, like I really love Magnolia Electric Company,
Oh, yeah.
and that album, Songs Ohia, Magnolia Electric Company with the owl on the front. Apparently, the story goes they hit record on Farewell Transmission, the first song, and the first take is the take on the record. And you listen to it with that in mind, and you're like, how the fuck did they pull that off? And it almost makes me mad. Like, it's so good.
But it's also, I mean, I've heard that story. So they'd also been touring, playing those songs for like 6 months every night, walking. It's a different animal.
You exercise that muscle for a while.
I've actually had that scenario happen on a one take and done on the last Grizzly Band album, the song Devil's Calling. Chad and I recorded that direct together. It was a one and done. And I was like, to this day, I don't think I could play it again. Like, it's the craziest shit. I was like, I looked at him when we got done. I was like, did they record that? And the engineer's like, yeah, I recorded that. I was like, oh, thank God, man. I don't think I could ever play it that good ever again. Like, it was weird, man.
But it's a lot. But, that's why I always go back. People talk about the 70s and all this. And these dudes were just going in there playing in one room and killing it. And it's like, we're releasing the Black Sabbath box set with all 82 takes of, of this song. It's like they got there and they played the same damn song for a week straight. And then it's like, yeah, dude, this take was the one. day 3, take 5. It was like, cool.
Dude, after 5 days of listening to Geezer Butler's autobiography, he never mentioned the fact that it took him 82 tries for a song.
I'm just saying, it's stuff like that, man. Like the Stooges, when they released, like, I think it was Funhouse, like, same thing. It was like, here's like all 38 takes of, I Want to Be Your Dog. And I was like, dude, how'd that take 38 takes?
Seriously, like, who phoned that in 37 times?
They do that, man. And that was kind of cool, like, listening to, we just, keep going off all these tangents, just trying to make you feel better about the live album thing, too, because it happens. But, that was how Neil Young did a lot of their albums in the 70s. He would bring out recording consoles and stuff, and they would play the set. They would record the set every night, but, mic all the amps and do everything, run them all separate channels. And then when he got home, he'd be like, all right, let's pull up all 25 shows. And, all right, we got a good take of this song. That's the album. We got a good take of this song. That's going on the album. And it'd be like, there's, tonight's the night. And it was all recorded live over like 28 dates. And it was like, there's this album on the beach. There you go.
Oh, see?
If they couldn't get a song right, all 28 takes, it's like, well, that song not getting played anymore. We're just
it's not on the record.
We must not like it if we can't get it right.
There we go.
Well, there's a paradox there, right? It's like, by doing that, you're trying to capture the best thing about live music, which is that it's like spontaneous and it's happening right in front of you.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, when I try to actually record, I can't get thought that I'm recording out of my head.
Right.
And I'm like, by virtue of doing what I'm doing, I'm destroying the best part about what I'm trying to do.
Right.
At least in my mind. And then at that point, I'm thinking that, and then I'm not thinking about my lyrics. And then the second verse comes up, and I just don't make a sound. And then the next sound I make is like, fuck, I messed it up. And then I got to start over, So.
No, that's how that's legit how it goes. Like every time, even recording demos, it's like, okay, I hit record on my phone. It's like, it's on. Oh my God, it's being recorded.
What's this word I just said 27 times? I don't remember it now.
There was a good story. Drag the Rivers was live at, it's like their big live record they did. But the point was that they come in right before they start. It's like, yeah, man, something's going wrong with the truck, the console thing, so we're not going to be able to record it. They're like, great. So they played this show, like pulled out all the stops, had a blast. Like, we don't have to worry about recording, man. And when they were done, they're like, no, dude, we fixed it after like the first song. Like we got it all. And they were like, dude, and then they recorded the next night. They did that as an EP and they knew it was recording and it sounded like shit. But that first, the Starlight, Relive with the Starlight, that was it. It was awesome. The audience was awesome. The next night they did it and it was like, it just sounded like, you're playing and it is being recorded right now. And everything was really tight and sounded like really...
Well, even like the audiences respond to that way too. Like they seem to be a little bit more reserved in it because like, oh, I don't want to mess with the recording. It's like, no, please, I don't want to hear the sound of my pick that I threw out hitting the ground on the recording. That's embarrassing. Like hoop and holler, please.
So I think what I hear is that the secret to recording is to have your people who are recording you lie to you.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Good to know.
Oh, sorry, Matt, it's just not working tonight.
Exactly. And then the next thing you know, Matt's live album is amazing. Like, that's all he needed. He just needed his friend to lie to him. A little bit of a lie, not a big lie.
I don't know. And I'd be like, are you lying to me?
It's just that it's tough, man. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. It's just giving me like
anxiety
thinking about you doing that. So it's like, because it's like, oh, even if you like barely tap a pick wrong, you're like, well, that just fucked that whole take up.
Right, yeah.
Start the entire song. And you're going through this shame spiral and like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to sing. God damn. Because I just like.
Man, I'm glad I just played dobro. I'm glad I'm just a one-trick pony, guys. Because that seems like a lot to take on.
Sam knows the shame spiral.
I couldn't play dobro, so you should give yourself credit for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And luckily for me, the live recording EP thing, it was a room basically only filled with my friends. And there were plenty of them afterwards, like where I started doing the self-deprecating thing, like getting mad. And they were like, dude, shut up. It sounded good. Don't worry about it. So there is also that aspect of it where it's like, it's impossible to have an objective view of what you've just done.
True.
Yep. At least for me, because I'm just there's not enough presence when I'm like analyzing while I'm trying to produce a sound. It's just not, it's two opposing mechanisms trying to coexist and it just doesn't work. You go back and listen and be like, oh, this is fine.
Right.
But we'll see.
Right. 3 months from now you go back, you're like, oh shit, this is actually really good. Damn it. I was mad for nothing.
You need distance.
Yeah.
It does, Sam? Man. Because if you go back to an album 6 months after you record, like, you don't hear, like, well, that's where I tapped the mic here. This is where this happened. I felt like this drum beat kind of lagged. And then you go back later, like, I don't tell where anything is. I don't remember that it's 2 minutes, 8 seconds anymore. Yeah. It's like, where's that at?
Yep.
It's fine.
There it is, man.
Thank God.
So, yeah, it's a lot, man. So that's good. Touch on the neurotic nature of producing music.
Right. Recording music.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, people need to realize, like, if you're going to take on that endeavor, like, it's not just like a push record and we get done. Like,
it is well worth it.
It is, dude. It's amazing when you get a great recording, and like, it's a great feeling. But there are a lot of times you're just like, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. I am wasting time, and so you got to get past that. You got to work through it. And I think it's good for people to hear that everyone has those type of issues. Like, no one, I don't think anyone really has the answer to it. It just, you got to work through it.
Oh, sure. Nothing is all sugar, Yeah. There's always something about it that's sticky and not good.
Every time. Dang it.
There's also the fun of when you write a new song, having to play it like 118 times around the house and being like, everyone's sick of hearing this, but I have to learn it.
Yeah.
I have to remember these lyrics.
That's true too.
It's been our house for the last week.
Yeah, we have what, 2 songs in the can or in the works right now.
He just keeps playing them over and over and over and over and over again.
That's okay.
I know all the words.
Now, are you a lyrics person or are you a guitar part person first?
It depends. Really have no set thing. It's always easier if it comes lyrics first, because then it's like, oh yeah, there's the lyrics. I have a good structure for a song, and how does the melody go? Or like, just start playing some guitar chords. Like, nope, that doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. I mean, you'll see in person. Like, I'm not like a technical great guitar player. Especially the longer I've done this band, the less good at guitar I've gotten way better rhythmically, but like, it's like, because when you're just the only, like, it's like a dobro and a guitar, it's like everything has to be an open chord. Like, you can do all these little 3-note tries, but it just sounds so like like when I play it to me live, it's like, it sounds like there's nothing happening. It freaking me out. Like, I want it to be like chugga, beat the shit out of it strumming. Like, I need like this whole wall of sounds. I grew up in loud bands, so I want it to be like loud and full open chords, capo it. Right. What can get the most strings ringing at the same time. But yeah, and then sometimes I'll sit around and just play like a guitar part for a week, and like, I really like this, and I've got to come up with lyrics because I want to play this riff or progression. And then like me and John, a friend of ours, working on like this doom metal project right now, so that's 100% like we're writing riffs and like,
heavy riffs.
There's no lyrics. It's all just like, here's how we're writing this riff, and what do you think of this riff? Like, that's cool,
intense riffage. All the riffs.
Well, it's just sometimes actually just focus on music. So I am trying to relearn how to play guitar really like decently again. So I played like lap steel and like lead guitar in bands, and then like I haven't done that in 8 years now. So it's like, I'll play a lead on our record, and it's like ding, ding, ding. Like, nope, that didn't work. So
I'm so excited to tell you, you have enough guitarists to do that.
But I guess, you're doing more stuff like this. You have a little bit more like arpeggiated chords and things like that, but it's, I don't know.
Oh, and my stuff?
Yeah, but it's not like,
yeah, I don't know. My patron saint of guitar playing, at least these days, is probably like Elliot Smith.
Yeah.
Another Texas guy. I think he's from Dallas or something like that.
Yeah.
But his whole thing was he played in loud bands and stuff, and I approach music kind of the same way right now anyway, where it's like, it's one guitar part, but you want it to sound like a lot's going on.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, if I'm doing the solo singer-songwriter thing, like, I don't want it to just be like, something small that isn't fully embodied, and then trying to sing over it is tough. So, like, I don't know, I'm trying to do, like, fuller chords, manipulating tunings a lot, so you can get, like, weird ambient sounds, like that kind of stuff. Cool. I enjoy that a lot. It's not like I'm doing the most complicated stuff. It's folk music, but still.
Yeah, it's cool, man. So, if you can get a lot of those, that's something I'll keep threatening to do, and then I'm just always like, Like a lot of alternative tunings and things. It does make a lot of interesting things you can't do otherwise, really. At least alone. Like, you can do multiple sounding guitar parts just like by kind of hitting these top 2 strings. You can play melodic runs on the bottom. So yeah. So see, you're a real
Adrienne Ranker is great for that stuff from Big Teeth, that band. She does really cool stuff in that nature where it's like, she's doing a simple pattern, but the tuning is such that there's these 2 notes that ring out on the bottom, and it just sounds awesome, So highly recommend checking her out if you're looking to go in that direction. But
you're right on. Yeah, we've been listening to like Samantha Crane, who's from Oklahoma, does that quite a bit. Ooh, yeah. She's a killer. Like a lot of it too is because she's like 5 foot nothing, if that tall. So it's, her playing like a regular regular Martin looks like she's playing like a super long scale guitar, and she uses all these crazy open tunings and stuff, so it's easier. But man, when it comes to that right hand work, it's just like, yeah, she's really good. Like just working that, and then just make all the chords, all these little runs, but it's all like weird. Half of her set's like, let me retune to this tuning and there.
Yeah.
You'll see when we play. That sounds about right for me too.
I love her deal. She always tells this joke about watching Jeff Tweedy, like from Wilco, like with his whole like 18 guitars behind him for all the weird tunings. She's like, when I'm alone sometimes at night, I'll pour myself a glass of wine and lay back on the couch and light a candle and think about if I had that many guitars. And, if my stage looked like that.
That's great.
It's like, now you know what I think about when I'm alone. Just like...
Not where I thought that conversation was going.
Nope, not at all.
No, it's hilarious. But that's what makes it funnier on stage, because you're just like, okay, that was not. Okay, cool.
All right.
But it's a great joke. That hopefully doesn't ruin it for anyone who sees her live, because it's a good moment to laugh. All right, man. Well, did you listen? You may have an idea. We may have just thrown you under the bus. I always forget to tell people this. So we're going to bring you into our last scripted question.
Yep. Final question time. All right. Give us a list of 3 to 5 artists or bands that you feel people should be listening to. It could be local, it could be regional, whatever, but just 3 to 5 groups, artists that you feel need the recognition and that people should be listening to on the regular.
Oh, sure. I mean, do I got to limit it to 3 to 5? Because that's really tricky.
I mean, you can go further if you got a lot more. If you do it, semi-quick, it's going to be like 2 hours later. And then there's...
Starts with Z.
We're not looking for like, man, I really like Coldplay or Foo Fighters. We want stuff people don't know about.
Have you heard of a band called the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Well, listen, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, so, like I said, some of my favorite musicians are like good friends of mine. Full disclosure, I'm going to list a couple friends here. One of them will be playing with us the 23rd. His name's Owen McMahon. I super love his music.
Owen
really
McMahon?
Great lyrics.
Yeah, Owen McMahon.
McMahon. Really great friend, great guy, great musician. So that's one. He inspires me a lot. Another one is Reba Jean. She's local. She doesn't put out a ton. I think she just put out an EP on her Bandcamp. So if you look, I think it's rebajean.bandcamp.com. That should get you there. Super like old-timey sounding jazzy folk singer. Great stuff. So those are 2. So I guess that leaves me 3. And I guess I'll kind of just go for like the big 3 that really inspire me lately anyway. I've already mentioned a couple. So one that's perennial is Townes Van Zandt. He's a super big influence on me. He doesn't really need much boost in terms of popularity. I mean, he's kind of a cult figure at this point, but I think people my age should check him out more. He's cool. Lived a crazy life. So that's one. I mentioned Elliot Smith. I gotta plug Elliot Smith, because I mean, if you listen to my music, it's all like double track, quiet, sad sounding songs. So it's kind of like, if you listen to Elliot Smith, you'll see where the shtick came from.
Okay.
And other than that, I mean, I mentioned Gregory Alan Iskov. He's a big influence. Beyond that, I mean, I really love Adrian Lenker. Billy Martin's great. Yeah. Other than that, I'm drawing a blank right now, but that's also just, anytime
that was
anybody
great.
asks you, what do you listen to?
That's a solid list, man. That's good. This is always like part of, I think, probably our favorite part of the interview, because it always gives us new artists to check out and to, for our listeners to check out, and it's always giving us some really good new artists
to play for our students.
Heck yeah.
Or just to listen to when we're on the road, man. Like, we enjoy that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We do.
Well, cool, man. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the thing anything we missed that you feel like you want the world to know?
Oh, God. If I talk too much, I'll get myself in trouble. But, hey, man, it's been great being on. Thanks for having me. This was not nearly as painful or scary as I thought it might be.
Yay.
As I thought about it all day at work. So I appreciate you guys making me comfortable.
Oh, that's what we do. That's the whole purpose of this. It's just a conversation with, musicians, and just trying to get to answer some questions and get to know you, and, hopefully get you some more listeners and stuff.
And to have you go like, please shut up and let me talk. That's kind of our goal too.
You just looking for somebody to stand up to, babe?
I'm super self-conscious after this last week, so.
He's a talker, ladies.
I think we did great.
All right, good. We gave you plenty of leeway. It's good. Get to hear all of our stories and recollections. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks. We're looking forward to meeting you in a few weeks, like less than a month now.
Hopefully I'll meet you at some point when I get cool enough to go on tour.
One day.
We'll bring a car.
Yeah, the next show. We'll get you up here.
It's not us. It's Kim's friend Susan was like, definitely not that guy.
She hates me.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want him in my house.
It's because I peed on her couch that one time.
Fine.
It's not my fault.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
On that note, Kimberly.
Bye, y'all.
All All right, y'all, that does it for this episode of Music in the Minor League, man. We hope you really enjoyed our conversation with Matt. We're really looking forward to meeting him in person and playing with him in a couple weeks. Before we go, just a reminder that if you do like the podcast, once again, share it with a friend. It helps us get the word out. It's really important. Thank y'all so much for helping spread the word on all these great indie musicians. We're going to keep it coming, man. We're going to be back with season 3 before too long. Thank y'all so much. Finally, if you want to be on the podcast, hit us up, man. You just got to have something released. It's the only thing we have. Have some skin in the game, man. That's it. Be playing live. And then we'll talk to you, man. We'd love to talk to you. And that's it for now, man. See y'all on the other side. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 49. We're going to close it out with another song from Matt's new album called On the Breeze. This one's called Afternoon. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Later.
While the sea warms a few degrees, I could cry just from stretching. Unseen gaps have clearly been evident from how I feel. The terror of a real sentiment that'll dear with no reason. Lost in mountain rain, all the breeze reserved for you. Mother true, and it's that afternoon through another wasted gem, while we wilt under fluorescence. As the day reveals its bases, empty spaces you that